Step 3, that is our topic today. We're going to take step 3 and talk about how that applies to someone in sexual addiction recovery. Now, if you have not subscribed to our channel, we have hundreds of helpful videos for you on your path to recovery. Just click the subscribe button so that you can be notified when videos come out that can be helpful to you. Now, you might have a question about the step or about recovery, about addiction, about something going on in your own heart or your own life or your own relationship. Please, if you will type that question in the box below, we will get to it as soon as possible. So stay tuned for step 3. Step 3 is a very powerful step. It's actually a turning point. It's a place where the writers changed the language. The very first version of step 2 was to turn your life over to God, to come to believe in God. But they changed it to a higher power because there was a lot of people in the process who, had different, we're talking about the 30s, different concepts about God and religion. So we get past the higher power. Now we're coming to a real place in step 3 where we make a different step. Made a decision. Now, as I talk about making a decision with anybody, the first thing that comes to my mind is that's a process. You don't come to a decision instantly. Sometimes it's moments, sometimes it's minutes, sometimes it's hours, sometimes it's days, sometimes it's decades. When you make a decision, there's absolutely a place and time where you can say, that's where I made that decision. Some people have spiritual encounters. They go, that's where I gave my heart to Christ, or that's where I had a transformational moment. Right there, at that place, on that rock, on that river, okay? When you make a decision, you know where you made a decision. So if you're on your way to make a decision, be gracious with yourself. Give yourself time, but do the research, think it out, talk to people who are ahead of you in the step process, talk to people that you spiritually respect. In every area of life, it's good to have people that are ahead of you that you respect, that you can ask questions, be it financial, spiritual, relationship, business, whatever it is. So in the process of making a decision, find people who've already made a decision, who are following a decision. And that oftentimes can help you expedite your own process of making a decision. Now, the decision you're making is powerful. Actually, the most powerful one you'll ever make in your life. And that is to turn your will and your life over. Now, I want to talk about the will. The human will is the most powerful thing in the world. It can make skyscrapers or atomic bombs. It can murder, it can create medicine. It can go the distance up mountains, and it can kill. Self-will run riot is the absolute cornerstone of the definition of addiction. It's when we're so addicted to our will, we only do what we want to do. No one tells us what to do. You're controlling if you even make a suggestion to this person. Self-will is destructive. I know, I've been there. I've seen thousands of people self-destruct just by the sheer will. By making a choice that's bad and sticking with it and sticking with it and sticking with it. It wouldn't matter if it was alcohol, drugs, sex, food. And we're talking about sexual addiction. So pornography, self-behaviors, relationships with others that are inappropriate. And they stick with it and they stick with it and they stick with it. But now we're turning our will over. We're saying to ourselves, I don't know what's best for me anymore. I'm not making good choices anymore. This processor between my ears, it's not always working right. So I'm going to turn my life and my will over. So you turn your will over, you're actually turning over the freedom to make your own choices. So when God says yes, you say yes. When God says no, you say no. That's what turning your will over. It says, I won't make the final decision. And whatever the final decision is, I will follow that final decision. We turn our will and our lives over. We give our very heart to God. And we say, God, you have me. You don't just have my choices. You don't have my decisions. You have me. I am turning me over to you. My past, I'm turning over to you. My present, I'm turning over to you. My future, I'm turning over to you. And we're turning our lives and our will over to the care of God. Now, I like this phrase, care of God, because some of the people I've met, grown up with the God of thunder and hail and hailstorms, he's out to get you and he's trying to judge you and he's wicked and mean and he's hard to get along with and hard to figure out and all that kind of stuff. And that's not God. God is very caring. He loves us incredibly much. And we're turning ourselves over to a loving God. We're not turning ourselves over to someone who doesn't love us. And how freeing it is to say, I know you love me. I know you know what's best for me. I'll follow you. I don't know what that means. I don't know the answers. I don't get it all. But I know at the core of who you are, God. And we're not saying higher power in step 3. That's a big difference because God is singular. We're not talking about the doorknob or the support group or some vague entity. We're talking about a being. We're talking about a singular being. We turn our care over to God, okay? Not gods, not things, not objects, not unanimated things, but a person who is God. And we're turning our lives and our will over to a caring God as we understood him. Now, that's a very gracious phase because you're going to keep understanding God and you keep growing in the understanding of God. And you're going to definitely learn through the people in your support group. You're going to learn through people in your 12-step group. You're going to learn through your sponsor. You're going to learn through spiritual reading. You're going to learn through recovery reading about this God who says, I love you. This God who says, I have your best interest at heart. If you would just hang with me, learn from me, the very appetite for pornography, the very appetite for sexual addiction, the desire to destroy yourselves through sex, the appetite can go away because you can feel loved. You can feel that there's accountability 24/7. You can feel that you have support. You can feel like the supernatural is possible, that God will send you a way out of things you get in trouble with. He will send you people to be answers to you, that you can trust and you can lean into him. And what's beautiful about the steps is that they so connect to human development, because trust is the beginning of all human development. And when we go from mistrust in our addiction to trusting God, we actually take a developmental step in the right, healthy direction. We actually are saying, there's a God. I trust him. I can be safe. He cares. My future is going to be better than my past. And all this happens when we take that incredible step. We make a final decision that my will is not going to be my own. I'm going to do as I'm told. Now, for Western culture people, that's tough. Okay, we like to be the boss. We're not the boss. I'm going to turn my very self and heart over, all of me, spiritually, financially, relationships. Yes, if you say yes, God, okay. If you say no, no. To a loving God who has my best interest and who I can evolve in understanding him. I can get to know him. He's a soul, he's a being. He has feelings, he has thoughts, he has intentions, and his intentions are good. So as you walk through your recovery, take your time, but make this decision. Make this decision to turn all of your will and all of your life over to the care of God. Now, if you have not subscribed to our channel, please hit that button. If you have a question, please fill it out. We love you, and we can't wait to continue to have conversations with you.